While I talk a lot about communication and positive communication, I wanted to touch on an element of miscommunication and misunderstanding that can really throw a spanner in the works when you're trying to relate to another person, when you're trying to communicate something and get a message across. So this kind of spanner, especially in places like workplaces and within teams, there isn't a lot of time where you can allow that spanner to exist and stay there without addressing it, without clearing it up. So when it comes to miscommunicating or misunderstanding, it can be misunderstanding someone's meaning or reasons behind their actions or their words. And I don't mean things that are very, very clear, but I do mean having the sense of the practice of self-awareness enough to notice that if there is a reaction within you from something someone has done or said, or there is confusion within you, looking within and going, okay, is this triggering something for me first and foremost? Is this a me thing or is it a them thing? Is what they've said or done reasonable, or do I just feel like I'm missing information? And the really key thing here, which is the whole point of this one, is to ask. So I am a big fan of simply asking that question. I haven't always been a big fan of it, only because I lacked the confidence and I lacked the understanding that I can just ask if I don't understand something, in the sense of communicating one-on-one with someone, right? So ask. Let yourself ask and say, hey, I'm not sure if there's something to read into here, or I'm not sure what's happening here, or I'm not sure what you mean by this. Can you please clarify for me what it is that I should know about this situation, or know about what you said, or know about this directive, or know about this conversation between us? And allow yourself to ask, because we're not we're not always going to get everything first go. We cannot possibly know everything, and this is how we learn as well, which is really, really important, because we're not going to always know everything ever, but we can't know it all straight away anyway. So let yourself ask, and if you're worried about their reaction in you asking, it's a whole different element. But if you're worried about their reaction in you asking, if you're worried about it being thrown back on you, then at least you have an idea of where that is at for them. But most people will prefer that they are understood. And if that means that you are asking to understand, most people will prefer to feel that. And if they don't, then you can just do the best with what you know, or do the best with what you can perceive. And if they do, then even better, because it invites a deeper conversation. But remember, you cannot plan these conversations beyond that. You can't pre-direct them before you get to them. You kind of have to just ask and then trust the process of the conversation or that communication unfolding as it does, and be open to learning what you do learn along the way, without going in with your preconceived biases or ideas or opinions of what that is. Let it be a little bit more of a conscious, active listening activity when you ask, and actually try to hear what they are saying. And on the flip side as well, if you're the person who is worried about being misunderstood rather than the one who doesn't understand, if you're the person who is worried about being misunderstood in these contexts, if you have communicated in the best way possible and you've checked in, you simply then just have to trust that if someone doesn't feel like they understand, that they will check in. And they may get it wrong still if they think they've understood and they don't check in, so they go ahead and do whatever it is or whatever it is. they may still get it wrong, and that is okay, but you have to trust that other people will ask you if they need to understand more. And there's two elements to that. There's a trust that other people will, and while we are talking about allowing yourself to do that, it's also the invitation of when you step up and go, hey, I didn't really understand that, can you explain it a little better for me? That also invites the habit and the practice of other people to do the same with you if they haven't understood you. So we lead by example. But someone has to start it. We can't all be stubborn, and we can't all assume that the other person should just know and just get it and just understand. And sometimes the reasoning behind whatever they've said that wasn't clear is because maybe they needed that invitation to step into the space to self-inquire what they really did mean as well. Because sometimes they might have skimmed over that too. That's not your place to diagnose, but these are the little benefits and the little add-ons that can come from you simply allowing that space where that is a question that can be asked, and then clarity can come, or then more understanding can come, and then we can do away as best as we are able to with superfluous misunderstandings that don't really need to be misunderstandings. They don't really need to exist, as long as we get out of our own way and our own fears of what it might mean if we actually ask.